Everybody, so we are debugging a code here for the number guessing game. So this is the code we have been given, and let's say if I control S and run it, it will give me an instruction indent block. So it says that there's a problem here, which I can clearly see here because there's a function that starts. Inside a function we have a for loop, but this for loop starts here. It should have some code over here. The for loop should have code block here, which is missing. So this is something one. There's this one problem. This is the basic problem, which is the other problem which I can see here, which is not giving error, but it will give error later on. But it says that so this answer should be here, like this is the whole thing. I'm thinking of number and you guess number. So for right now, what I'm doing is that I'm taking all the code, trying to exit out here. I will say I will delete this to here. It's not here, coming here, so I will delete this now. So it takes the name here and definition of number. I don't have any comment here like what this function should be doing here. I don't know what this function does. This function does should have. So it is called a number, which is never being called here. So it might be in that other code which I deleted. But what we can do is that let's say that was the problem. So what we have already have is say that I have a number of times 0, and I have a random number which has been generated a number in the number. And what is your name? It will take the name in that. Then you can if you want to make a function, you can make a function out of it, but I'm doing it without function. So you already have a number of attempts. You can either use the while loop or the for loop here. I will say while my condition is num attempts is greater than 3. So it should be greater than or equal to 3. So the 0 will be the first attempt, so it will be, you can make it 2. And while this happens, I have already taken a name. I will say guess here, and then I can take the info from the user saying the same thing, that I'm thinking of a number. You can write complete here. So thinking number, please enter a number. So you can have a complete saying that a number between 1 and 20, but you can enter a number. Then I have the guess here, and then you will, after that you can have if conditions. I will put this in a conditions, you have if conditions, conditions to, oh, sorry for type, conditions to evaluate. You will evaluate whether the guess is equal to the number or not. If it is equal to number, then you should end, otherwise you will continue. So you can have a break condition, or you can may not have a break condition if you want, but it all depends on you. You can just have if conditions, if, else if, else if, or you can have only three ifs, whatever you want. You can again have this whole into a function, and then you call the function from here or whatever you want, and the code which I deleted maybe that code goes into that function. But the main problem from your code was that there was a for loop going on, it was not into your code. So then you can have it, and after while is done, you should also have in here at the end, like after you evaluate, you can have num temps plus equal to 1. So it means that each time because you are in a while loop and you are checking the condition each time where the condition goes, so you have to every time it does, you increase the number of attempts. And you might need to, you have already taken input here, so you can also have instead of while loop, you can also have for loop. For loop will again go for 0 to 2, which will be 0, 1 and 2, so it will 3 attempts. In that case, you might not need the num attempts, because your for loop is already controlling the number of attempts, which would be a fixed number, which is 3. So 3 attempts. So but in while loop, you will need to have you will have to update this while num attempts, and with the number of attempts you are checking is. So the difference between while and for loop here is that for loop has a fixed number of iterations, so you can have it and you don't need the number of attempts. For loop will control it, but if you are using while loop, you will have to use that. And again, for loop you can sorry, not for loop, you can again have this in a function or not. And so that's the thing you can use it. I will just briefly go again, control Z it all the way back, so that you can see what was wrong here. So that was your code, and the main problem here was that you have this, I have more here. Oh yeah, so that was your code, and the main problem was that you don't have the this definition after for loop. There should be indented block here, which is expected. That's the error it was giving, and that's why it is asking you to the error, because this all this code you have, you see you are already doing that. All this code you have is either it should be inside the function. If it is not inside the function, then you don't need this function. So if I, let's say if I just delete this and see what will happen. So it will save as 5 name m. See, it is giving right now the type error, unsupported operand type as for plus non-type equals string. So that is the problem, and that's the problem. Most probably it's coming from here. Let's remove this problem and see if it still has that problem. Not m. That's the number. I will say 5. Too low. I will increase it to 15. Still too low, so I will increase it to 18. Too low, I will increase it to 20. Strange. So this means that your if conditions, you are going over the if conditions, so means that, yeah, so if you are all the way up over the if conditions, means that your if conditions are not working properly because you have too many if conditions. So you should, if you are having only if conditions, you should have this. If you are controlling a while loop, you don't need to have this maybe, because all this thing like print good job means that it should be somewhere here. You don't need this, because you, if you are only controlling the number of attempts, you should not have the number of times already controlled by the while loop. You should only have the guess checked here, like whether your guess is equal to number or not. So you are doing the guess, so number of attempts you are looking at guess, not as number of attempts. That's the other problem. So hopefully this solves your problem. If it does not solve your problem, let me know. I will go through it again. Thanks.